The Walking Dead Season 11, Part 1 of 3, which means episodes 1 to 8. God damn, that's confusing. Yeah, The Walking Dead Season 11 is going to be 24 episodes, released in 8 episode installments. We've just recently finished the first 8, so Part 1 of 3. Now, The Walking Dead Season 11 is continuing directly on from Season 10. Obviously, I'm not going to go into the backstory. I imagine if you're watching this, you are somewhat aware of what's come before. So, we're just cracking on directly from Season 10. Now, let's just get right into it. The show has 3 separate storylines now. It's trying to run 3 storylines following 3 different groups, sometimes 4 storylines, but, mostly 3, with the 3 groups running them alongside each other in these 8 episodes. Now, this is already a major problem. Of course, the show has always had an abundance of characters. That this isn't new in terms of how many characters we got, but they've either always been together as one group, or we've just seen 2 sides to it. Like you go back in the day to the governor's group versus Rick's group, 2 groups, or Rick's group versus Negan's group. It's 2 groups, even though sometimes you get a few different, little angles on it from when the group is split. It's still pretty much 2 things, whereas this is 3, sometimes 4. So yes, the show is trying to run 3 to 4 storylines whilst balancing the screen time, whilst also trying to intertwine these stories with each other so they have relevance to one another. And this is a major problem. Major problem. Now, out of the 3 storylines, the worst storyline is the one involving Eugene, Yumiko, Ezekiel, and Princess. Now, whilst I like half these characters, the fact that the showrunners think that showing us these characters in this new community called the Commonwealth would be of any interest is baffling to me. We've seen this so many times before. New community, new community, new community. It's all this show is really about. It's about zombies and new communities, conflict of interests. But the fact they think, oh yeah, last season, let's give them some recycled thing again, another community, that's like apparently better than all the others and different from all the others. It doesn't feel that different. It just kind of feels like what the governor had, that sealed off town. People had jobs, that sort of thing. It does not feel like anything different, and it's not interesting in any way to me. I frankly couldn't give a shit if there is something sinister going on in this community, because I just don't care all that much about the characters that we've known before that are now in here, and I don't care about the characters that are new that are in here, that have been there for a little while. I just don't care. I don't think any viewer really cares that much. I think that's the last thing we want to see. Now, on top of that is the fact that we aren't all that bothered about characters that we've barely known. Like characters we've known for 2 seasons, like Yumiko. I don't like her very much. Princess, I don't mind, like she's decent, but they kind of give her the least screen time out of the lot. Eugene is just damn irritating, and I like Ezekiel, but they've just kind of ruined his character now. But as I was saying, these characters that we've only known for like 2 seasons, in the final season of this show, that's not really who we want to see. We want to see the characters that we've either known from the start or known for more than 3 seasons, such as like Negan or Gabe or Rosita, people that came in at like season 5, 6, 7, like they're still interesting to us. But the rest of them, like these characters that came in at like season 10, it's just of no interest. It's just, we don't care about them. We're not invested enough in them to really want to see the final season of this show dedicating its screen time to them, when we'd rather see the characters we've known for a lot longer. I mean, right now, Negan is arguably the best character in the show. He just has the most character to him. Him and Daryl, easily the standouts of the show so far. It just feels like a monumental waste of time, spending time with these newer characters when they've still got a lot of not the OGs, not the loads of the original ones, but they've still got a fair few that have been around for a while. So we should really be spending all the time with them. That's kind of all as a viewer we want to see, because they're the ones we actually care about. And as this is the final season and it's going to be their stories coming to an end, I'd rather spend majority of the time with them as their story is coming to an end. But no, we're just in Yumiko try and be a lawyer again. I don't know. Like I've said before, when I did that Walking Dead podcast, the only thing that will make this final season worthwhile is the return of Rick and Michonne. Mostly Rick, but Michonne as well. That's a big thing for me. I'd love to see both of them return. It's so pivotal to the show. It needs to happen in order to make this season worthwhile and the show worthwhile when it comes to its conclusion. But do I think it'll happen? No, because they're making Rick Walking Dead movies, so they're probably just not going to bother, which sucks. But I do have a little bit of hope, but I don't think it's going to happen. Now, it's not all bad for season 11 so far. The good element of these first 8 episodes is the last 2 to 3 episodes, where it does pick up a bit. The story becomes a little bit more interesting. One of the storylines involves Daryl, who's sort of been taken in by this group who are hunting him initially. They were hunting him, Maggie, Negan, Gabriel, as a group. And Daryl sort of like wandered off and then got himself involved with the group, so they didn't kill him, but now he's pretending to be on their side. And that's like an interesting dynamic where he's trying to sort of prevent this group from killing his group, but also pretend that he is with them now and he doesn't care about Maggie and Negan and he's actually trying to get him killed. You know, it's an interesting dynamic seeing him work both sides, and you feel the tension and the pressure there when he's with that group. You know, the group is led by this like crazy Christian guy who says, you know, God's doing his work through him, and when he does like crazy shit it's because God told him to. Kind of cliche, you know, crazy God person. It's not that interesting in terms of a leader, but I mean, he does get a bit better, even though he is cliche. It was all right. Like, I didn't mind it that much. It was, you know, it was interesting enough. It's better than the Commonwealth for sure. And this was an interesting little storyline. As I said, you see Daryl's side of the story and Maggie and Negan's side of the story. So you end up having like one storyline split into two, but it works. And that's kind of where I wish like all the episode time was dedicated to in the end, because the other stuff just wasn't that interesting. But saying that, it's still nothing exceptional. You know, it's still struggling, this show, for sure. It's not great, but it's the best of the rest. The other storyline, which I haven't even mentioned yet, is the Alexandria storyline, which is arguably the most boring, but I'd still rather see that than the Commonwealth storyline. You know, the only thing keeping the Alexandria storyline remotely interesting is the fact that we've still got characters in there that we like, such as Carol and Rosita, and Aaron, who's okay at times, but kind of annoying the rest of the time. You know, nothing really happens in Alexandria the whole show. Like, Maggie and the group have left Alexandria in order to get food to bring back to Alexandria. So the people in Alexandria are just sort of starving. That's pretty much it. They're just doing nothing but complaining and fixing a wall. In the final episode, a storm hits, so it's like a bit more interesting, but even then it's not that interesting because the storm has hit Alexandria before and it's hitting again, and it's just like they just needed something exciting to happen in Alexandria because something exciting was happening for Daryl and Negan and Maggie. So it's like, okay, we can't just show some boring shit and then some exciting shit. So let's have a storm hit. But, you know, when the storm was kicking off, Rosita goes out, like, in the rain with, like, a sword. She's, like, kicking ass, you know, killing zombies. But I thought, oh, my God, she's going to get outnumbered. And then Michonne is going to come out of the rain because Michonne's daughter, well, not technically Michonne's daughter, but, you know, Rick's daughter is not actually technically Rick's daughter either. It's actually Shane's daughter. But, you know, her, Judith, she's looking out the window and I'm thinking, oh, my God, what if, like, a silhouette appears and, like, helps Rosita out when she's fucked? And it's actually Michonne. But no, that didn't happen. Rosita just did a thing, came back inside, and I was like, okay. Overall, the Commonwealth storyline is the most boring. I don't like watching it. I really don't like it when the scene changes that. I'm just like, oh, God. Please, take me back to one of the others. Alexandria, boring, but slightly better because the character's more interesting. And then the storyline with Daryl and Negan and Maggie is the most interesting, but it's still not that great. It's just the best of a bad lot, really. You know, it's barely keeping a season interesting that's at the moment is comparable to season 8. I hate to say that. I prayed I would never have to say that about this season. But man, that's the closest season that it's with right now. Is season 8. Yeah. So bad start. Hopefully it does better. I ranked the season so far as a 6 out of 10, and I feel like that's being generous. Could easily be a 5, but 6 I think is fair. Because there's good performances in here, and you can tell these actors are giving it a good go. You know, apart from the child actors, but let's not even talk about that. Apart from Judith's good. The rest, eh. But you know, Daryl's giving it a go, Negan's giving it a go, Maggie's giving it a go. Like they're giving it a go. They're trying to make this a good final season. I can see that. But I feel like the writers are letting them down a bit with the story they chose here, with the route they decided to go down. I guess they're following the comics, but maybe they could have just altered some stuff because they haven't always followed the comics completely accurately. And I think they could have just chosen a better story for this final season. Honestly, it does feel a little bit insulting. I know that seems like a strong thing to say, but it does, because it feels like, you know, we've stuck with this show, all right? It used to be good. It went crap, but us as viewers, me and other people that are still watching, we've stuck with it in the hope that it will ultimately come good. And it's an insult that they are wasting our time with these characters that are just of no interest and showing us a recycled plot line once again. You know, like the hunt for food, the hunt for fucking, you know, dominance over other communities. it's just stuff we've already seen. Like, give us something fresh, something new. At least the Whisperer storyline was something new. This isn't. They've just gone back to what it's always been, and I'm not impressed. As I said, there's no sign of a Rick or Michonne return, which is all us as viewers want, but so far no sign. You get the odd mention of Michonne. I don't think there's even been a mention of Rick. So we're clutching at straws right now. We're hoping there's something good in the dark, but I don't think there is. And to top it all off, the storyline that is somewhat interesting, we only get to see it a third of the time, because the other 66% is spent on the other two storylines, which just aren't that interesting. So, yeah, pain. So far, they have not managed their time and delegated their options well when it comes to this final season. They have not made the right decisions, creative-wise. Creative choices have not been on it, which sucks, because I really thought after they came back from the dead a little bit with season 9 and 10, they revived that show, and I thought, okay, here we go. Final season's going to be lit. I thought it was going to be awesome. I really did. So far, wow, it's really disappointed me. I hope they can pull this out the bag, with these next 8 episodes, which aren't due until next year, so that's a problem. And then I think maybe the final 8 will also be next year, but we're probably going to get like 3-4 month gap between each lot. So yeah, that sucks. They're making us wait. All we can hope is that it gets better, but I have a feeling it won't. But until the next time, until the middle 8 episodes 9 to 16, that's all from now for Walking Dead. If you've been keeping up with it, excuse me, let me know what you think about the show so far. Are you just impressed? Or, leave a comment if you can't believe I'm still watching this show. I don't know too many people that are still watching it, like, personally, but I know a couple. We're sticking through it, so we just gotta hope that the outcome is worth it. But either way, thank you for watching this video, and leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I will see all of you in the next one. Bye bye.